Hello, Nation. I'm Dustin Davis, and welcome to Cowboys Express Report. Something shifted when backup quarterback took the field. The moment exposed underlying tensions within the Cowboys organization, revealing fractures that extend beyond simple game management decisions. What appeared as routine substitution now carries implications that ripple through every conversation about Dallas's championship aspirations. The path taken from here will be remembered long after this year. Let's check out everything that's happening in Dallas in the last few hours. First of all, let me take a moment to ask for your help. If you enjoy our videos, give us a like. It's a great way to keep the content going. Thanks for the support. But before we dive deeper into the season's complexities, let's address the elephant in the room that has fans divided. When backup Joe Milton III stepped onto the field during the third week, Dallas supporters immediately sounded alarms. Though there are valid reasons for optimism regarding the young signal caller's potential, witnessing him replace Dak Prescott so early in the season sent an undeniable message. The game's outcome was already determined, making it plausible that head coach Brian Schottenheimer was merely safeguarding his primary starter. However, the visual created unwanted speculation, exactly what America's team cannot afford right now. Most importantly, this entire discussion is happening prematurely. Dallas restructured Prescott's deal for immediate benefits, yet this decision simultaneously locked the franchise into a difficult position regarding potential separation. Departing from this arrangement lacks both practicality and feasibility currently. Releasing Prescott would burden the Cowboys with a staggering $129.9 million penalty when the next offseason begins, according to over-the-cap data. Delaying any release until after June 1, 2026 would lower that impact to $74 million, though this figure remains financially prohibitive. The earliest realistic opportunity for such a decision would arrive in 2027. Consequently, regardless of owner/general manager Jerry Jones's occasional public uncertainty about Prescott, the organization possesses limited alternatives beyond maintaining their commitment. Combining postseason disappointments, injury concerns, increasing age, and substantial salary allegations creates complexity, yet this represents a situation Dallas created for themselves. Ultimately, the Jones family's optimal strategy may involve hoping Prescott recovers his previous form. When questioned about the third week's performance, the veteran quarterback reaffirmed his confidence in the offensive unit. "I believe in our offense, and I don't think people can stop us. I think you can even go back and look at these possessions. We stopped ourselves. I don't know if they've done a lot to stop us, honestly, and that's what's frustrating." Acknowledging limitations beyond individual player influence remains fair. The defensive unit ranks among the league's poorest performers, yielding the fifth highest points per contest and permitting the most passing yards at 288. Though Prescott may possess imperfections, he continues as Dallas's only legitimate starting option under center this season, regardless of what Milton demonstrates in limited appearances. Throughout his Dallas career, Prescott has weathered numerous patience examinations. Now the franchise and its fan base must demonstrate similar patience in return. Speaking of unexpected opportunities, a surprising roster move in Houston just opened an intriguing door for Dallas. Jerry Jones should contact the Texans to thank them for the unforeseen chance they've just created. Following the shocking news of defensive back C.J. Gardner Johnson's release, Dallas now has an opening to pursue the experienced defender. Houston chose to part ways with the 27-year-old less than a month into the campaign. Though such timing typically signals warning signs, the Cowboys would be negligent not to investigate signing him considering their obvious secondary weaknesses. Dallas's defensive back depth lacks quality. Gardner Johnson would presumably improve upon current starters Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker, while reserve options like Marquise Bell and Wanya Thomas have failed to generate confidence. Simultaneously, Dallas continues managing cornerback Deron Bland's availability, and Trayvon Diggs hasn't approached his previous performance levels. The current defense has allowed 92 points across 3 contests, with the Cowboys ranking last in opponent aerial production at 288.0 yards per game. The unit fails to limit passing attacks and consistently permits explosive gains. As a former Super Bowl champion at just 27 with proven credentials, Gardner Johnson offers positional versatility, experience covering both safety and slot positions, enabling Dallas to utilize him throughout their defensive backfield. Beyond schematic compatibility, he understands East NFC personnel and offensive weapons. Gardner Johnson completed 2 separate tenures with the Philadelphia Eagles before being dealt to the AFC South this offseason in the transaction that brought guard Kenyon Green to Houston. Any acquisition would include concerns. The former champion brings complications. He delivered pointed criticism following his Philadelphia to Houston transition, and NFL reporter Aaron Wilson highlighted locker room friction in Houston. Among the issues Texans experienced behind the scenes with C.J. Gardner Johnson, per sources, he was critical of teammates in the secondary and didn't like his role. It was a locker room issue, and ultimately, this just wasn't a good fit for the team and for a talented player. The current defensive coordinator doesn't emphasize frequent pressure packages, so unless Dallas discovers a role satisfying Gardner Johnson's preferences, he might struggle in Arlington. Still, if he moderates his desire for increased blitz opportunities, a Dallas move could revitalize his career while providing mutual advantages. While defensive additions grab headlines, an injury to a key offensive weapon has created its own urgency for the front office. The circumstances are challenging. CeeDee Lamb's high ankle injury will sideline Dallas's premier playmaker for no fewer than 2 upcoming games, requiring reserve players to step forward. However, the NFL's midseason roster movement occasionally provides ready-made answers, and one recent roster move merits immediate consideration. While team owner Jerry Jones typically shows willingness to pursue talent, incorporating a receiver during the season presents consistent difficulties. Nevertheless, waiver claims and practice squad movements create possibilities, and one significant Tuesday development could translate into immediate assistance for the Cowboys. Experienced wide receiver and return specialist Mecole Hardman was released from the Packers practice squad per ESPN's Rob Nermowski. Acquiring him would diminish Lamb's absence while providing coaching staff with versatile strategic possibilities. Currently available as a free agent, Hardman ranks among the most accomplished wide receivers lacking current roster placement. The former Georgia product has accumulated 2,302 receiving yards and 16 touchdowns through 178 receptions across 80 contests, 28 starts, with the Kansas City Chiefs and New York Jets, while contributing championship experience from 3 Super Bowl victories. His downfield velocity would help stretch defenses for targets like George Pickens and Jalen Tolbert, generating more favorable coverage for Dallas's intermediate receiving options. Despite years passing since his last 600-yard campaign, Hardman still compels defensive coordinators to respect deep threats. A signing would additionally permit the Cowboys to continue developing Kevontae Turpin into a more reliable receiving contributor, a responsibility he's already embracing. Turpin currently averages approximately 41% of offensive plays this year compared to 5%, 13%, and 27% in prior seasons. And that increased involvement has yielded 8 receptions for 129 yards and 1 touchdown. Turpin's expanded offensive responsibilities have coincided with declining return effectiveness, providing another justification for considering a veteran return specialist. Despite handling roughly 3.3 kick return opportunities per game, increased from 1.6 previously, Turpin's average return distance has decreased from 33.5 to 23.0 yards. Hardman, conversely, achieved a career-best 26.4 kick return average in 2024, indicating he could immediately enhance Dallas's special teams performance. His addition would create coverage complications for opponents while allowing Turpin more advantageous return situations. Franchises require reliable execution across all phases for championship contention, and though signing Hardman wouldn't guarantee playoff success, it represents a minimal risk, maximum reward decision the 1 and 2 Cowboys should seriously evaluate. Hardman's arrival could energize practice competition, accelerate chemistry within the receiving group, and supply immediate depth while Dallas assesses long-term roster choices throughout upcoming weeks, while offering strategic flexibility on third downs and returns immediately. Beyond the tactical advantages, adding Hardman this week could provide Dallas a competitive edge against Green Bay and an opportunity to demonstrate the Packers released him prematurely. These factors create a persuasive argument for the Cowboys to extend the 27-year-old a new opportunity in Arlington. The Cowboys find themselves at a crossroads with multiple critical decisions ahead, and we want to hear your thoughts on each of these storylines. Regarding C.J. Gardner Johnson, Would you take a chance on the talented but reportedly problematic defensive back? Is his Super Bowl experience and versatility worth the potential locker room headaches, especially given how desperately Dallas needs secondary help? About the Mecole Hardman opportunity, with CeeDee Lamb sidelined, do you see Hardman as a legitimate solution or just a bandit fix? Could his championship pedigree and return skills provide the spark this 1-2 Cowboys team desperately needs? Leave your analysis in the comments. Don't forget, like and subscribe to join our fan base and stay up to date. Let's grow stronger with Cowboys. Until next time.